To another vlog with the Accord. So today we are going to be actually painting this front bumper. Or at least I'm going to try my best. I want to paint the rear one too, obviously, but I'm going to start with the front one because I know it's going to take a while. And, you know, I don't want to pull both bumpers off and then not have enough time to do it and then have to put it all back together. So I'm just going to start with the front one and then we'll work from there. I might do the rear one next weekend, but let's just see how this goes. I'm now in the process of removing the bumper. I've removed the front grille, pretty easy. And then I've removed all of these little plastic rivets, which haven't been touched in decades. And it seems someone got a little crafty over here, and they just freaking drove a screw through the bumper to keep it on. Whatever works, now it's loose pretty much. I just need to get the clips on the bottom and the other side, then the bumper should come off. Okay, the bumper has been removed. You know, I think any mechanic can sympathize with me on this. These little plastic rivet clip things are terrible. They suck. They're so bad. One of them, I got most of them off as just fine, actually. It was missing a few in here, but the vital ones were there. And, oh, the bumper's loose. Huh. I'll need to tighten that up, I guess. This is the actual bumper here. Yeah, it's just bolted in here. It needs a little tightening up. There's the horn. But yeah, so that was kind of interesting. Yeah, that's kind of loose. That was always kind of loose like that, I think. But anyway, yeah, I got the clips off. The bumper's here. As you can see, it is pretty dirty. I don't know if I'm going to paint the underside. I think I'm going to flip it around and start painting over here. Of course, I need to remove this blinker cover, which is pretty simple. I need to buy another one of these because this side doesn't have it, obviously. But yeah, that was pretty simple. So now I'm going to go prep the bumper for paint. I have to remove the license plate, the blinker, and wipe it down, make sure it's nice and clean. And yeah, then we'll get to priming it. Okay, I think I've done, well, we have a propane heater now, that's the noise. But I feel like I've done enough prep work, at least enough that I feel is necessary. This is not going to be a shop quality paint job or anything. I just want it to be white like the rest of the car. So I've taken my 1000 grit sandpaper over there and went over the entire bumper. It looks pretty decent. I still got some spots that I need to wipe and make sure super clean before I start applying the primer. But that's about as good as it's gonna get. Of course, see here I had to, you know, sand these down. This is gonna be what the bumper is, or the license plate is rather. So yeah, a couple little wet spots I need to wipe down so far. But other than that, I'm ready for primer, so I'll be back. Okay, so I'm using the primer now. This is just cheap primer, I don't care. Shaking this right now, but of course, I do have these can guns, which is gonna help a lot with the application process. I think it's gonna make it a lot nicer. And yeah, you basically just snap it on top of the can, and it's like a paint gun almost. But yeah, as far as the bumper goes, it's getting there. I don't know what the hell this is. Like, I don't know what these marks are, but I sanded them down, so yeah. Again, stuff like this I really don't care about. I might wipe those holes out a little bit more though, just to make sure it sticks. But the part I care about is over here. This is the side that everyone's gonna see, so I want to make sure this part is actually good. But yeah, I'm gonna get into spraying the primer now, and I'll come back when I have the first coat down. Okay, so I laid the first coat of primer, and the can is empty, so it's a good thing I have another one. I'm definitely not doing the rear bumper today now, I guess, because gotta prime it. Well, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, yeah, the can is gone, and there's my first coat of primer. Again, it's not the greatest, you know, there's still some spots where I need to put another coat of primer on, but I'll do that in about 10 minutes. And yeah, other than that, it's looking pretty decent. I mean, again, this is not going to be a shop quality paint job, so don't expect that, but it looks decent. I mean, it's there are some spots where I forgot to clean it, but oh well. I mean, whatever. I really do not care as long as most of the bumper is white. I know I'm going to get roasted for this, but I again, don't care. So, yeah, the other side, I decided I'm not going to paint this part. I'm just going to keep it up here. But it looks decent anyway. It's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect. But yeah, there's our first coat of primer. So, yeah, in about 10 minutes, I'll use the other can and go over it once more. And then we'll start painting. Okay, so we now have 2 light coats of primer on. I'm going to call that good, even though it's not perfect. I'm just going to call that good enough. I might touch up in here a little bit, because this is going to be the part that most people see. Over here it looks pretty good. Over here it could use some touch-ups in this area, so I'm going to do that. But other than that, the bumper's looking pretty damn good. Yeah, so it looks pretty decent anyway. This is just the primer coat, so it's not the base coat, so I'm not going to go crazy. And I want to save that rest of that primer for the rear bumper, which is going to need it a lot more because there's more surface area because it doesn't have this grill. So yeah, it's only 1 o'clock, so I'm going to do the rear bumper if I can. But I just want to make sure this one looks nice first. Okay, so I've touched up the primer as much as I really want to. It looks pretty good, so I'm going to call that good. Of course, we are laying a white color. I'm going with the taffeta white, which is the closest I could get. It says replace the original Honda colors. I believe this Honda color is frost white, not taffeta white, but it's going to be close enough. So yeah, so now I'm going to lay the first base coat. And of course, I have 4 cans of paint, but again, I'm also going to, well, with these, I'm going to, you know, make sure, I want to use 2 cans per bumper, basically. So I'm going to try my best to use the paint as sparingly as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and lay the base coat now. Alright, so I'm aiding the first coat in drying with this big heater. And yeah, I will put the second coat down in about 10 minutes from now. I went through exactly 1 can of paint, so I just used the other can to make the second coat, and then the other 2 cans will be for the rear bumper. So I'll try not to use this one up just because I know that the rear bumper has more surface area, so there's going to be more places that need paint. So I'm going to try to be very sparing on this one. And then we have 2 cans of clear coat. Hopefully 1 can will cover 1 bumper because, you know, it's kind of what I need. But yeah, we're already 1 can down. Anyway, I'll be back when more stuff happens. Alright, I think I got it pretty much how I want it. That looks pretty good. Again, it's not perfect. Let's see, I'll touch that up right there. But other than that, that's about as good as it's going to get, to be honest. I don't want to, you know, go overboard with this. I will have to touch up, again, these corners, but that's it. The rest looks pretty damn good. Go ahead and show you here. From the front, this is the part you're going to see. So again, it looks good. Actually, I'd rather not use the flashlight because that'll, you know, just make it invisible. So yeah, it looks really fucking good. Of course, I'm not too worried about in here because there's going to be a blinker right there. So anything inside this line is not going to be seen. But yeah, as far as everything else goes, it looks pretty good. Again, I do need to touch this part up. It is a little, you know, low right there. But other than that, the front, the top, the parts that you're going to see 99% of the time when it's on the car look pretty damn good. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and give those areas a touch up with the little bit of remaining paint I have, and then I'll go ahead and put the clear coat on in about half an hour, and then I'll slap it back on the car. So out of curiosity, because I know one of the motor mounts is bad, I decided to go ahead and inspect them. And yeah, I looked at this one. This is the front motor mount. That is not holding a goddamn thing. You could see in there, I don't know if you can, but you can see that it's cracked right down the middle. That mount is holding absolutely nothing. So that is why the engine moves so much. And of course, you know, here's the other one over here. This one looks alright, just, you know, old. Same with that one down there. So I'm going to replace all 3 of these eventually. This is not going to be fun. I'm going to have to remove probably the radiator fan to get in here with a ratchet so I can actually undo that bolt down there. But other than that, it seems pretty standard. I just have to jack up and support the engine. Wow, there's a lot of gunk down there. But anyway, yeah, I definitely need to replace this one because this is not holding anything in place anymore. So yeah, that definitely needs replaced as soon as possible. And of course, I'm not going to be driving this car, you know, much at all until I get this fixed. Yeah, you can see the engine stamp right there. It's F22A1. But yeah, anyway, I have to get this replaced, and I'm going to replace this one and that one too. There is a 4th transmission mount back there somewhere, but I'm not going to mess with that one. That one actually has a solenoid connected to it, and it firms up and, you know, is computer controlled and all that. And it's down there somewhere, and I really don't want to mess with it. So I'm just going to replace these 3 easy to replace ones. I found a kit on Amazon. You can get all 4 motor mounts for about $65 or so. And yeah, that ought to do the trick. So yeah, this one is by far the worst and needs replaced ASAP. Anyway, as far as the paint goes, it's drying, of course. I need to let 30 minutes go by before I use the clear coat. Now, I did buy 2 different kinds because that's all I had. It's got this clear effects stuff, which is supposed to have like sparkly shit in it. And then I have this perfect match. I haven't decided which one I want to use for this bumper. I might use this one for the rear because, you know, yeah. and this one for the front bumper. So yeah, but anyway, I'm just waiting until time passes and then we'll get to the clear coat. And there she is with some clear coat on it. Now it has a little bit of a shine to it, as you can see. Looking really good. I'm actually really happy with how this is coming out, even though I'm a retard. But yeah, this will look pretty good, I'm gonna say. Of course, it's not gonna match the factory clear coat here. It's not gonna be this shiny or anything, but it'll look a lot better than black, I think. It'll, now that it's color matched. And let's go ahead and see it from a, you know, 15-20 feet away. It matches pretty well, as you may be able to tell. So yeah, now I'm going to work on getting this rear bumper off, and yeah, I'm going to move this one over here onto this wheelbarrow so it can dry. I'm just going to leave it there for a few hours, and then yeah, I'll work on getting this off and start painting that one. Alright, so we're back. Here I have the rear bumper, which was an absolute bitch to remove, but I did it. Here is the front bumper drying. It's not as glossy as I wanted it, to be honest, but it'll look alright, I suppose. It's not going to look, you know, amazing, and it's really not going to, you know, blow anybody away. But, yeah, it should look alright. I mean, the paint job itself is okay. It's just not quite as glossy as I wanted, but oh well. As far as the other bumper goes, I've run out of primer, pretty much. I'm pretty much out, so that's gonna have to be good. I did one coat. Unfortunately, I can't do 2 or 3 coats of this stuff, but obviously the back bumper is screwed up anyway. It's been hit like a million times, so you know, I'm not like a body shop or anything. I'm just gonna paint it and call it good. Now, of course, you know, this isn't gonna look great or anything. At least I don't think so. I'm just doing this pretty much in the meantime. I'm trying to find some, you know, LX, EX bumpers that are painted the same color, and then I'll go from there. But anyway, I guess I'm just gonna lay the coats down and call it a day. Okay, so the first coat of white is on. Again, it's looking pretty much like this one. I did scratch it a little, unfortunately, but you know, other than that, it'll be all right. So yeah, I tried to touch it up a little, but it probably wasn't a good idea. Yeah, I probably should stop with that. Anyway, this it's looking okay. Don't ask about this. That actually was because I ran out of paint in the other can, and it started squirting water out. So that sucks. But as you can see, it's very rainy out. This is like the worst environment to be painting in, but I really don't care. Again, I'm not expecting this to really look that good, but it'll look better than black, I guess. So, yeah. Of course, I got this big heater to try to help dry the paint. It is, I did screw up a little bit on this one. You know, there were some runs, like right there, and right there. There's a couple runs, but other than that, it's a 20-20. 20 feet away, 20 miles an hour, it looks fine. So I'm rolling with it. There's nothing really I can do about it anyway. So yeah, but there we go. It's coming along. I'm just gonna put the second coat of this on in about 10 minutes, and then the clear in about 30 minutes. And then hopefully that bumper should be dry and I can put that one back on, and then let this one dry for a couple hours and then put it back on, and then I'll be done. So yeah, here's the second coat, and I'm officially out of color paint. So there it is. It looks a lot better with 2 coats. I was getting a little discouraged, but that one turned out really good, to be honest. I mean, again, it is a little matte for my taste. It's not going to match the glossiness of the car at all, but the color should be close anyway. And yeah, I have one more can left of this Duplicolor Clear, so that's what I'm going to spray on this next in about 30 minutes. But yeah, as of right now, I just have to go ahead and let this dry. Again, it doesn't look showroom quality, not even close, but it looks pretty good for a, you know, person like me doing that. And you know, there is a couple of like watery spots, as you may be able to tell, but that's just the nature of, you know, when the environment I'm painting in. I mean, you can see it's raining outside, so yeah, probably not the best idea to do it like this, but I wanted to get it done, and you know, that's what I wanted to do. So yeah, we're gonna have to roll with it. It looks pretty decent though. It's not, again, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna give it 30 minutes. We'll spray some clear on this, and then by the time this is almost done drying, that bumper should be ready to slap back on the car. No problem. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Well, that certainly looks different. It doesn't match perfectly. You know, it doesn't really match 100%, but it looks pretty good. I mean, if that was more glossy, it would look better. But honestly, I think that looks pretty decent. At least it's all one color now. That's all I really care about. I don't really care about, you know, being perfect. But yeah, so far I like it, honestly. I mean, again, it's not the perfect, you know, it's not a perfect paint job. It doesn't 100% match the car, but it looks pretty decent for a few hours of my time and some spray cans. So I got the rear bumper drying here. Still raining, of course, but it's not raining that hard yet, so that's cool. I really want to get this back on there and get the car, you know, over there. So yeah, that's basically what's going on. I'm gonna basically let this dry for, I don't know, an hour or so, and then slap it back on there. The rear bumper is a lot more involved to put back on the car, so hopefully I can, you know, do it in a reasonable amount of time. But yeah, so far I'm liking where the car is going. And honestly, from this angle, the paint matches pretty well. So yeah, I like it so far. Yeah, I think it looks better. It doesn't look perfect. It doesn't look really, really good, but it looks decent enough for me. So there's that. Well, there she is with the new bumper and everything. Looks pretty good, I think, in my opinion. Yeah, I like it. I think it looks more like you know, or rather less like a base model now, so that's cool. Again, it doesn't 100% match, but it's pretty damn good, and I like the way it looks. I also took the liberty of centering and straightening the license plate so it's no longer crooked and off to the side like the idiot who owned it before. They drilled the holes a little bit to the left. So it's perfect now, so that's cool. Let's take a look at the rear bumper. I initially did not think the rear bumper was going to come out that great, but it actually turned out pretty good. As you can see, car looks pretty nice. Let's go take out the rear, check out the rear. I actually like the way the rear bumper looks almost as much as the front. Like, yeah, that looks really good, actually. I really like the way that looks. For a, you know, I spent about 4 hours on it. For a 4-hour rattle can job, that looks pretty decent. Now, again, if you go up to it and you look at it, yeah, there's some scratches, there's some imperfections and all that, but pretty much it's really good, and I like the way it looks a lot better than the black bumpers. So I'm pretty damn happy with that. It looks a lot less like a base model now. So yeah, really liking it. Let's go and take one quick walk around again. And yeah, so that's cool. Anyway, that's gonna pretty much conclude this vlog, that is. And so pretty much I will see you guys in the next one. Sorry, I'm kind of at a loss for words right now. Thank you guys for watching this vlog, and I'll see you guys in the next one.